All right. Hey, everybody. Here we are for our first book club night for Get Over Yourself. And we are going to be talking about chapters 1 and 2, but I actually wrote a couple things down for the introduction as well, because I kind of love some of the stuff she said in there. And I love how it starts off with, let's get this party started. As you guys can tell, she is no nonsense. She does not mess around. And this is actually the third time, I think, that we've read this book, something like that. And we've heard this from many people. Kaylee just shared herself that this is the second time that she's read this book. The first time was maybe when you first kind of started sharing, and she's already gleaning tons of stuff. And that's what we keep hearing. That's what we've heard from people who've read it the second time. And even I just shared too, the third time. You guys, I must not have highlighted much the last round, because I highlighted a ton of stuff this time, just because it's so good. So we're going to dive right in. One of the things I'm just going to quick talk about, like the introduction. I love that she goes over, like everyone has the potential to grow the business of their dreams, and you do too. Everybody has the potential. It's going to take some skills, and that's what she's going to go over in this book. And I love that she, talks about at the top of 8, she talks about, like, maybe you're a working mom, maybe you're this kind of person, maybe you're this kind of person. It truly is for everybody. And I know as I'm reading this, I can think of pretty much every single person on my team and what they brought to the table with this, whether they were a stay-at-home mom that was looking for something more, a way to contribute to their family, all of that. It does not matter who you are. I was a working mom. Okay. So I needed something different. Okay. And this business has completely changed the trajectory of our entire family life, future, all of that stuff. And that's for anybody. It doesn't matter whether you're stay at home working, if you are an empty nester, if you are pregnant with your first child or whatever, it doesn't matter. Everybody, if you're not even married yet, it doesn't matter. Everybody can do this. Everybody has the potential, but it takes some skills, and she's going to share all of those with us. I love how she goes over that she'd not have time for this. I mean, how many of you saw her long list of things that she was doing? She was big in corporate world, had tons of people. And I love in the middle of 10, she says, because I simply couldn't pass this up, I decided to get a bigger plate. And I was like, oh, okay. All of those excuses that we all tell ourselves or tell our sponsors or whatever, it just gets laid to rest right there. Get a bigger plate. Everything's figure outable. And that's something that I love that she just starts up in here too. And then, I think she kind of ends it with, it's time to think big, limitless possibilities. And it's time for you to start. And she's going to help us get there. So chapter 1, why people fail and why it ain't gonna be you, or that ain't gonna be you. Sorry, I can't even talk right now. All we have to do is talk to people, share our love of our products and our company. Would love to know your thoughts on chapter 1 or introduction or wherever.
One thing that I've noticed with the book, and the first time I read it too, is there are so many sentences that you can use as a positive affirmation. In the introduction already, there's so many, I am coachable, I am consistent. I think we can even go, as we're reading, we can kind of, use it as, hey, what can I learn from this, and how can I use this as a positive affirmation and, build my belief in myself, the business, the products, whatever. Because we're not going to fail. None of us are going to fail. The only way we're going to fail is to quit. So.
Love it. So good. Thank you, Jer.
I absolutely loved the 3 buckets reminder. It's so easy to think of buckets number 1 and 2 with our customers and our business builders, but I so easily forget about the people who say no or they quit. they're then in the referral bucket, and we need to take advantage of that as well. That was a great reminder.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of like probably a mindset thing, right? Like you can think of them as, oh, they're done, or, oh, they said no. But it's flipping it, flipping the script in our head and pointing it out to them that, well, if this isn't right for you, I would love it if you had someone in mind that you might think would be a good fit for this,
Mhm. Yep. And it's just another follow-up, reply, whatever, there's it. And we all know that just because someone quits doesn't mean that they're out, like you can always follow up unless they like put a restraining order on you or something and give you a really hard no. You guys, I've had people come back even that said that, don't contact me again, whatever, years down the road, you just, yeah, or they block you. Yep, that happens. But like there's these buckets, and yeah, that was really good to me too. There's always a place for people, and the referral bucket is a biggie for sure. Cause it's not, and she talks about this later on, much later in the book, she gives lots of great statistics, but that's where we talk about everybody knows 600 people. So, well, that'll come later, but it's pretty amazing what referrals can do. I actually just got one yesterday, so and I've gotten a couple referrals from just happy customers, even people that don't want to work the business, that love the products, but they just do not care about the business part, but they send them to me or to you or whatever. That's what we love. That's what we're here to do too. So that's awesome. I love that you pointed that out.
I liked at the top of 14 when she said, want to raise well-adjusted, happy children. You better be prepared to be tested over and over and be willing to learn about your own shortcomings and be willing to stretch and grow and get some serious gray hairs. I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old in my house right now. And I am definitely being tested over and over again. And with doing some of the cold messages that I've done and the gaining relationships, I have also been tested in that. So I was able to think about what I'm doing with my kids, and then dealing with my work too. Also, I guess my dog decided to come in too, but dealing with all that, I'm also, dealing with work. So I have to take my time to breathe and realize I'm being tested, and how far am I going to get pushed, and how far am I going to push through? A lot of things that I've read in this first chapter, 2 chapters, have hit me in the face and been wake up, hello, get over yourself. So I'm really excited about continuing to go into this book, because there's been a few times that I've read something and my eyebrows have raised oh, she actually said that. And I feel that. All right. We're really doing this. Let's go.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
I love it. I know. And that's that whole section too, that's all about if you want to do hard things, if you want to do big things, it's going to be hard. Raising kids is hard. Doing an Ironman is hard. You better be prepared to work, and it's the same thing here. This is not an easy business, but it's simple. It's not easy, but the things that we do are simple and basic. So yeah, I know that was a really good, again, I didn't highlight that whole section, but I was like, why didn't I highlight that before? So little brackets around it. I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I must've been just soaking it all in. And this time I literally highlighted the whole thing. So that's awesome. And that's awesome that you're seeing that, Rochelle. You're like, okay, so that means this book is going to it's going to motivate you. It's going to push you in some places, which is good. Any other thoughts? What about the part that says the 4 reasons why people fail?
Yeah, on that one. The one about getting uncomfortable. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. On page 21, where she's like, if you're not making mistakes, you're not stretching yourself and you're not trying hard enough. I feel that's like been really convicting to me lately. And I think it's because maybe you guys can relate, but sometimes when you have a goal or you're shooting for a rank or something and you hit that rank, there's something in you that to some extent says, okay, I've succeeded, right? Like I can do this. I've mastered some things because I've gotten to this certain point. But that's a really dangerous place to be, because then I think you're also subconsciously pushing down areas where you need to grow and the next steps that you need to take to get uncomfortable in order to keep succeeding and to keep moving forward. And so that's really been convicting to me lately. It's like, okay, there's no getting comfortable here, sister. Like now is the time where you really got to dig in and figure out now what are you avoiding? What's holding you back? Where do you not want to go right now because it's just scary? Because now's the time you have to do those things and take that, that next step forward.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's a tough one, that reason 3, uncomfortable, because nobody likes to be uncomfortable, and that really does hold people back. I mean, that keeps people from talking on book club, doing a live video, like doing the hard things, even just messaging somebody, following up sometimes is scary for people. Like, and a lot of those things are, digging in a little bit deeper, troubleshooting. I mean, you could like pretty much everything, I know for a lot of us, we've had to work through these things, but if you're new, you're probably finding that a lot, that this is an uncomfortable thing, but you have to think too, like whatever other job that you did before, there were uncomfortable things about that too, like, for example, I started coaching my son's 5th and 6th grade basketball team. You wouldn't think that that's a very big deal, right? You know how nervous I was to go sit on that bench for that first game to go coach those little, 10 to 12-year-old boys. Like, I'm so nervous. And I'm like, it's 5th and 6th grade boys basketball, but I want them to win so bad, but they're not really very good right now, and I don't want them to lose, and I don't want, and I want them to do well, I was uncomfortable. And I used to coach like high school age kids, and I got nervous sitting on that bench too, but there's just different things that's just one tiny example, but if you ever want to grow, if you want to go somewhere with anything, you have to get uncomfortable. Otherwise you're just going to settle, and if you settle, well, then are you going to go anywhere? So
Chris, I love that you shared that. One overarching theme I'm getting from the book this time that I probably got last time, but not as strongly. Okay, so like everything I'm reading, I'm like, she's just no nonsense, right? I mean, so a lot of us are women, and we all have the feelings and we have the mindset. Like I love that you just shared that about, your son's basketball team. Like you were in your head. You were just in your head. We all get in our head about everything, especially as women, about our kids, our jobs, our cooking, like you name it, right? We get in our head. And as I was reading this, I was just like, there's nothing in her head. This is just black and white. And I feel like we have a lot to learn from this. Like, look at how fast, and wasn't super fast, but decently fast, she climbed this company, because she was black and white. She was like, no nonsense, not getting in my head, just doing the things I'm gonna learn. If this is what I want, I got to figure out my why. Like, just shut up and do the dumb things. Get out of my head. And I was just like, okay, I need to learn from this. I need to just figure out, like, everything is figure outable, but sometimes we got to figure out how to get out of our own stinking heads.
Yep. For sure.
I agree. I agree, Janelle. This is my third time around in this book, and it's really, I've been really working on the personal growth, and she's really getting to me with the mindset, and it really it's been making a difference. And of course, I have the book, but I listen to it on Audible as well, and she does the narration, so it's really kind of nice. But I chuckle a little bit about what she says. If you look on page 18, she talks about, give me an example of somebody in our business that has little kids and made it to the top, and she'll give them a gift. And I'm thinking of all you diamonds that have little kids. I think of Fallon. She's got how many? And I'm thinking, does she know about Plexus diamonds and how they've done it? But she talks about on that same page, the kind of down toward the end, just before the last paragraph, it says, in this profession, every time your mouth is closed, your business is closed. And that really got me to thinking, I can't be shy about talking to people about it, because that's not going to help.
I know. I love that. That's in that section of people that don't treat this like a business, it's just a side gig. And, it's funny we're doing, there's some like gold and ruby mastermind trainings going on for those ranks and above. And that was a question that just got polled. All the jewels was, how much time did you spend on this business? And, did you do in the nooks and crannies, and how did you do it? And it was really fun to read through those this afternoon. It was kind of lighting up, and I was popping in there here and there just to see, what did this person say? What did this person say? And, and I think about my own journey with that. And, if you want to go somewhere with this, you can't hide it. You can't hem and haw about, am I going to post? Am I not? Okay, maybe I'll just post 3 days a week. Maybe I'm going to talk to a couple of people, maybe I'll only talk to people if they bring it up. I did that at first. I only posted. That was it. Cause I was terrified I was fine if people came to me, but I was terrified of messaging people. But I learned very quickly, you got to message people, you got to talk to them, and you got to follow up with people. Posting only gets you so far. For me, that was safe. For some people, that's terrifying. I can't put anything on Facebook. I don't put stuff on Facebook, but you've got to open your store. You've got to and you've got to open your mouth. If you don't talk about it, your store is closed and it's not going to get out there. So, and then you got to be willing to spend more time on it than 30 minutes a day or an hour a week. It's got to be a job, and working mom, I did it in my car. I remember making videos from one building to the next, 1 mile from Southside, Pine Ridge to Southside. I think somebody chewed me out. Actually, they're like, "Are you driving?" I'm like, "Yep, I am." But I had a thought and I needed to share it. But I'd post in my car, and then I'd go teach PE, and then I would do calls when my classes would leave the gym and before my kids showed up. And, then I'd go home and I make dinner, and during homework, I'd send out a few more messages, and then kids would go to bed, and then I wouldn't watch TV, and I would sit on my computer and I would message people probably until about midnight. And not everybody can do that. I'm not telling you have to stay up till midnight. Okay. I'm not telling you to do that, but that was what I had to do, and, so you got to treat it like a business, and you have to have your open sign turned on, just like if you had a store. And you've got to remember too, that I love that she says it's called network marketing, not net slacker marketing. I love it.
I don't think we can skip past the part that the coachable part. That's the very first one that she mentioned. And, I wouldn't be here as a diamond re-entry if I wasn't coachable, and listening to my upline, who had paved the way and done all the things before me. So being coachable is a serious part of this business. And I mean, it's hard sometimes to maybe take advice when, you know, we want to maybe do it this way or whatever. And that's okay. You can maybe put your own spin on things, but there's no need to reinvent the wheel, you know, in this because of the people that have paved the way. And so being coachable is also putting your trust in the people above you, that they have your best interest in mind and they want this for you more than you want this for you. And I think that is the biggest part. Like, just trust me because I love you so much and I want this for you so bad. So just listen and let's do this together, and you know, just open your mind to the different ideas or whatever. I think that's really important. And then I also loved the part with the open sign, because I was thinking about, like, Eric started his own business, or if any of us were to start our own businesses, we would not talk about it. We would not open the doors and advertise and be excited and share. And this is the same thing. We own our own businesses. You are the CEO of your business. Why aren't you sharing with everyone you know what you have? You know, it's just like owning your own business with any other thing. It doesn't matter that it's network marketing or that it has a stigma or people think it's a pyramid scheme or whatever. It's not true, right? You know what you have. You know what you have is gold. And you want to turn that open sign on and talk to everyone about it, right? Because you're not going to get to your why that she talks about and your dreams without doing that. Okay. So if you want those dreams to come true, and you know, whatever you have written down, which hopefully you did, you know, she wanted you to do that at the end of chapter 2, then you got to talk about it. You got to have your open sign on and you got to talk about it.
So good. I was just turning to the coachable part, Sal, to bring that up. So thanks for talking about that. All right. I love it. And oh my goodness, I'm looking at the time going, okay, we have 4 minutes. Try not to go over too much, but with like what you're, so I love that you just said that too, Sal, with keeping your sign open, and otherwise you're not going to get to your why because you're not going to do the things. And so let's go to chapter 2, unless other people, if you want to bounce back to 1, if there's something that you really wanted to say, please say it. Don't hold back. But I guess like the reason for they're not hungry enough kind of launches us into that too. If you're not hungry enough, it's probably because you don't know why you're doing this. You've got to know why. And she really digs into that over here. So would love to know your thoughts on that. You need to figure out your why. Some say your why has to be big enough to make you cry. We talk about that all the time. It's definitely got to be big enough to keep you consistently showing up for your business week after week, month after month. So thoughts on your why?
If you can't see it, smell it, taste it, if it doesn't move you deep in your soul, then I promise you it's not enough to keep you committed. That hit me because I have a big goal, and when I really think about it, I can see it, I can smell it, I can taste it, and it moves me. And I've like that because I never thought about it, that I could see it or taste it or, you know, smell it or whatever. But when I read that and I stopped and thought about my why, I was like, I can. So I know that if I keep to that, I'm going to be where I want to be. But yeah, that, I mean, I also like in this book how she's got the like, I don't know, the little squares on the pages, like it that was highlighted, that she like put up so you read it twice.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, if you Like that's something big to think about, your why.
I also thought it was important that she put in there that your why, it has to be about you. Because we are so involved in how am I serving my kids here and what do I do to serve my husband here, and the work that I do at school is service, and I'm serving, but that why, if it's really going to move me, it has to be about me, and that's not selfish. So to hear her say that's not selfish, it has to be about you, it really gave me a lot of freedom to think, okay, I can focus on why I want to do this, not just what it's going to bring for those around me who I'm busy serving.
I think too, the first time that I read this was like earlier on in my Plexus journey, and I thought I knew myself, but I didn't. And I feel like one of the awesome things about Plexus is that I have come to know who I am more, and like my motivations and my like who I am at my core. And now that I know that, I actually have an established why. Like that actually will move me. I thought I had that before, but I didn't. And so, it would take me short term and then it wouldn't last. And so it's just really cool to see that like I'm growing as a person. I know who I am now, and that's helping me establish that.
Yeah, I think that's really good, Jessica, because like she said, your why also kind of morphs as your business morphs. And I think that's directly tied to the fact that we are growing so much personally in this, with that deeper understanding of ourselves, because of the things that this is requiring us to do. And it takes a lot of reflection in order to keep doing that. And then I loved, as she said too, I think page 31, as you explore your why, keep asking yourself, why is that? So that you can go deeper and deeper and deeper, kind of like she said, peeling back the layers of an onion. And I think that's so true, because I think she had said earlier in the chapter, she's a big believer that your why can't be about money, but it can be about what the money will do for you. So I think that's that whole, well, why is that? Why would that amount of money be really impactful to our family? And then but keep asking that question. Why is that? Why is that? I really like that. So I think that's something that I would like to do, to unpack my why even a little bit deeper than what it already is.
I liked all of those parts too. My why has changed quite a few times already as you move through. And I think sometimes, like you said, especially as women, we don't give ourselves permission to at all focus on ourselves. Even if what we're focusing on for ourselves will better our family and will better our kids or whoever we're wanting to help afterwards. But I think sometimes I've been so focused on the big goal that it says instead we need to focus on the process of reaching the goal and actually enjoy the journey. And sometimes it feels like you're in the valley and you're not growing, and it's hard to appreciate those times. But I've really been working on that lately and diving in, and what Sal said, to be coachable, that really hits. I have never had a community that has invested in me and actually wanted the best for me and believed in me. Me and you guys, this business is not just a business, and it's not just supplements, this community. And I was a teacher before this, and I don't know about the other teachers in the group or the other professions, but I wasn't poured into like this. I was always told I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't good enough. I was always average. So to be poured into and for people to want this just as much as I do for me, holy moly. I want to share that with so many other people. I'm sorry for crying, gosh. Anyways, all of that to say, I've really had to dig deep this week and not just focus on that big goal. That's good to keep in the back of my mind, but I want to focus on the little parts of the journey and enjoying the journey, even when it's hard, because it's hard. Whew, you guys are awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I
Thank
agree
you,
with,
Kaylee. That's awesome. I actually wanted to share a little bit on our Ruby call for those of you that were on or weren't on. Christina shared, you know, we all have our journey. And Kaylee, that's what made me think of this. You said when you feel like you're not growing, you're at a standstill, like, okay, you start to analyze, like, is it my why? Is it this? Is it that? But Christina said, you know, I wouldn't be the leader I am today without those valleys. Like when my team is going through those valleys now, I can relate. I can coach them. We can talk about it. I get it. You know, we all want this easy, smooth road to the top, right? Nobody has that. We can't even expect that. That's not reality. So we've got to, like you say, Kaylee, enjoy the journey. Try to enjoy the valleys. Like who even talks about that, right? Maybe not enjoy them, but maybe appreciate them because they're going to be part of our story. They're going to help somebody else's story. And they're for the good of so many people, because that's what's going to make us grow. That's what's going to make us relatable. That's what's going to make us attractive, to be the leaders we need to be when we're supposed to be there. God's got that all figured out. We just need to trust it, do the things. And yeah, so I just wanted to say thanks for sharing that. And it just made me think of what Christina shared too. It was just really good.
So good, you guys. Lisa, I think, were you gonna share? Lisa, you unmuted.
yeah, I was just gonna say that sometimes if we don't know our why is because we stopped dreaming. And I think that's a lot of my, you know, being a mom and farm wife, you kind of do your thing and your day in, day out, and you don't really think about, you know, what your dreams are anymore. But, you know, now my kids are growing up and that I can think about, you know, what I want to dream about again. So yeah, this really makes you think about what your goals are and what you're striving for.
I love that. I'm so glad you said that, Lisa. I know we're over time right now, but I just wanted to quick bring up too. I mean, how many of you guys did the action at the end? And if you did, that's awesome. If you haven't yet, I highly suggest page 40, get in action. It's just it's asking your why. It's digging deep, writing it out. And I want to encourage you to send that to your sponsor so that they know. If you haven't done that yet and haven't had that conversation recently, or if you just need to revisit it, you know, and you need to go over again. I know I've had to change my why many times. Many times. It went from wanting to just not have Plexus be a line on our budget and it was just paid for, to maybe I can quit teaching, you know, and then maybe I can retire Kevin and he can do what he wants to do, you know, and being able to do a lot of other things. And, you know, so it's just, it changes a lot. And so it's so important to revisit that, and to revisit those dreams. And if you've hit a dream, amazing. Well, keep dreaming, because God wants big things for us. He's not want us to stop dreaming, you know, so we need to keep revisiting that. And this, what we have here is a way to get to those dreams and those goals. So I really want you to do page 40 before next week, and, you know, maybe over the weekend, think about it, pray about it, send it to your sponsor so that you guys can talk about it on a coaching call and go over that. But just really good going over SMART goals. I love how she went through all of that. You know, just breaking that all down. She gave some really good examples. Like, I don't know, just really good to go over SMART goals and, you know, how to figure those out and how it's important to be. I love the realistic part, because sometimes we do dream really big, but she talks about stretch goals are really important. I love that she brought that up, because I'm like, realistic, it's important to see the big things and to stretch ourselves, but it's good to be realistic too, and to take one step at a time, one bite at a time. Yeah, and then focusing on the process. So any other questions or comments?
I have one more thing to say. On the last page, or no, wait, on the last page, it's on page 36. On the bottom, fall in love with the process and it will lead you to achieve your goals. And I just think that's so eye-opening, because so often these parts that we don't love about this business, we don't think about falling in love with them, or we don't think about like it being a positive thing, like it's hard or it's scary or we're afraid or whatever it is. But if you just flip your mindset to being positive and loving what you do, even if you hear a nose and even if you don't have any joins in a month or whatever, it's just going to make such a huge difference in your business if you just love what you do. And I know a lot of us do. That's why we're here, because we love people and we love to help people. And also we have grown to love this because we need it ourselves. You know, like a lot of you have been saying tonight, we need, like Kaylee was saying, we need that. So, so just think about it being just a whole process of love and, you know, being wrapped up in that. And that's what God wants to. And I just love that part. And then right across the page on 37, Eric and I've done Dave Ramsey, the snowball, the debt snowball, and all of that. And his quote, we've been to his headquarters and talked to him, and his quote on the wall is, live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. And she wrote here, entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. That is so true. And going back to opening your business and talking, you do this for 2, 3, 4, even, 5 years. You could all be diamond. All of you could be diamond in 4, 3, 2, whatever years. You realize that, right? Like you totally can. And so if you just live like nobody else is right now, work your buns off, do all the things, be coachable, don't be afraid, then you can live like no one else, because you've achieved your goals and your dreams. And I mean, the sky's the limit, you guys. So all of you are here because you didn't put the book down after she said being 100% coachable, right? She said, if you're not that, then go put your book down and don't even keep reading. Well, you guys obviously kept reading and you're here. And so you put your, you're going to be coachable. You're going to do it. Let's do it. And I know all of you did that. So here we go. Road to diamond. This is it, you guys. You're all doing it. There's nothing stopping you. Even if it takes you 5 years, we've talked about that too. Even if it takes you that long, which isn't that long. Think about corporate America. 5 years is a very short time. So anyway, I just believe in all of you, really, truly. Okay, I'm done.
Love it. And with that, I think we got to be done. Thanks, Sal. So good.
Kaylee, it was live like no one else, so later you can live like no one else. That was Dave Ramsey's quote. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, you guys. Thanks, Sal, for wrapping that up so perfectly. Loved all of that. So you guys can do it. And I love that you said that, Sal. Nobody put the book down. You guys all showed up. So that means that you are ready to do it. Let's go. All right. Thanks for joining tonight, you guys. We will see you next week. See ya.